Hey guys, welcome to Moonkit's tutorial. Today we'll learn about functions. So what we have done so far are these topics: variables, loop, if conditional, listing tuples, and dictionary. Today we're going to discuss something about functions, Python functions. What are these and where they should be used? Let's go one by one. So what are functions? A function is a block of code which runs when it is called. So what it means is like it won't be executed by itself. We have to call it to get executed and then we get the return value. So we can pass data to a function known as parameters and function returns data as a result. Now let's go one by one to these slides and let's practice in the Visual Studio Code. Let's make a new file, select a language, Python, and save this file as functions. Functions.py. Now let's go one by one on these slides. Now creating a function. How function is created in Python. Function is defined using def keyword. So what follows def is a function. For example, def function1 is print I am function1. Now let's go to our coding editor. Now what this does is this says define function underscore 1 and print I am a function. Now why this is showing as a warning? Because of these codes seems to be wrong. Now these are the actual codes. Now there's no warning at all. Now if I execute this one, it won't give anything on the screen. Why? Because we have not called this function. Now how to call it is function underscore 1. Now this is the way I'm calling the function. Here I'm defining it, what it should do, and here I'm calling it. Now if I run this one, it says I am function1. So here we are calling it. So if we comment this line again, and if I run this script again, I won't get anything on the screen because we are not calling this function so far. So coming back to what we have discussed here, a function is a block of code which runs when it is called. So if it is not called, it will not run. We can pass data to a function known as parameters, which we will see in a bit moment. Function returns data as a result. Now here we are showing you how to create a function by using a def keyword. Moving forward, calling a function. This we have already done here. So we are defining a function and here we are calling a function. So we can do anything in the function. We can do some calculations or we can insert data into database or whatever is needed. But it will run only when it is called. So if I run this again, it will show me 2 lines because there are 2 lines in the function which I am calling. Moving further. Now passing parameters or arguments in a function. Now these two terms are used for the same thing, which is arguments. So passing parameters arguments in a function. Now the term parameter and arguments is used for the same thing. Parameters are used to pass information to a function and then you can use those parameters either to print it or to use it for another logic. So if I go to my code editor and if I paste this text over here, so P should be in the small. Now here I'm defining a function. Let me clear this screen out. Now here I'm defining a function which is accepting the first name and last name as parameter. So it is expecting 2 parameters here. And when it is called, it should print the first name and last name, what we will give to this function as an argument. Now function name, let me write first here and then second These are not the names, but just I'm telling you how it will be concatenated. So if I run this one, I will get first, second, because there is a concatenation with plus, but there is no gap in it. So let me make small gap here. It will be with this one now, first, second. So if I write Stefan with R Peter. So if I write this one, it will give me the names. So here what we are doing is we are defining a function. This function is expecting two parameters. What if I give it one parameter? It will fail. So here is one parameter. If I comment this part and run this part, it will give me this missing one required positional argument, which is last name. So this is missing. But if I repeat the same text over again, it will pass, because it doesn't verify whether the same name is there repeated or not. It will only check whether there are two parameters given to this function or not. If I run, it will write me Stefan. So this is the way it works. You define the function and then you call it. Let's move forward. Arbitrary arguments, which are specified with star and then args. Now what are these? Now I'll show you small example here, and I'll explain you while running this example in the code editor. Let's paste over here, clear the screen. Now here what is happening is we are defining a function members with star members. Now this is what was mentioned over here, which is star args. So args is for arguments, but you can give any name over here. You don't have to specify args. So we have given members. Now function members is called by giving three parameters: Peter, Amar, Anu. So what it's going to do is it will act as an array and it will write the second one. It starts with 0 and then it gets incremented. So if I run this one, Amar will get printed. Second is Amar. So if I just print all these names, so this is first, this is second, and this is third. So here 0, 1 and 2. So if I run this one, it will write Peter, Amar and Anu. So what it is doing, it is making use of this function because we are calling this function with three parameters. Now with this star members, you don't have to specify as many parameters arguments what we are passing. So we are passing 3, you don't have to specify 1, 2 and 3 what we have done in a previous example. But here you just write star members and then index. Index will be used to display whatever value you want to display. Let's move further. Now keyword arguments. So far what we have done, we have sent the passing parameters which are like specific names, first name, second name, and then we were calling this function using two parameters. In another example, we made use of star arguments where we were only specifying one name for all the parameters, and then we were using index values to print that particular parameter. 0 starts with 1 and then it gets incremented. Now here is keyword argument. Now what are these? Let's see. Now we go here, editor. Now let's see what it is doing now. Defining function first, second, third. Now if you see, third is a bit glowy and these are gray. Why it is so, I'll explain you in a moment. But these are the way we are calling the function by giving the names of every parameter, assigning a value to it. So first is this one, second is this one, and third is this. So now here we are not relating with 1 and 1 like let me write down all in one place so we can do a comparison. So this was the first one. This was the first one where we were passing the value function name was called with these variables, these arguments. Now if I write here A and B, so here A and B will be called because there are two parameters expected by this function and we are passing two parameters over here. So let's there's a line and then second function over here is, now here we are making use of keyword which are called the keywords arguments. Here we are specifying the name of the argument and assigning a value. The second one was what we discussed was with star arguments. So let's compare all of these now. So in this function name, there are parameters defined here and we expect exactly two parameters. If one is given, then there will be a problem. So if I comment this particular section, now if I run this one, I'll get A and B, A, B, because there are two. Let me give some space here. So A and B, let's clear it out. So A and B now. There is a space here. But if I give only one parameter, it will give an error to me because it is the two parameters which are expected here, which is not the case over here. In this case, we are writing as star members, is star argument. So if we read this text again, this is called arbitrary arguments which are started by star and then the argument's name. So here we don't have to specify as many parameters or arguments what we are sending to the function. We just define one with star and then we use the index value to print it. So if I run this one, the second member is Amar because the second place here is Amar. If I do 0 here, then then Peter will be displayed. Okay. Now, if I remove this section as well, remove the comment, sorry, and now this one is defined function first, second, and third. So here, these are called keyword arguments because we are specifying first should be this one, second should be this one, third should be this one. Now, if I change the sequence also, it will definitely work because we are defining here by the names of those parameters what are expected here. So if I run this particular, it says third member is Stefan, the third member is third is Stefan, even if it is written in the middle because we are specifying the parameter with the value, with the name of that parameter. So these are the way the functions and the parameters works. Now coming back, let's move forward. Keyword arguments we have already done. Now just like arbitrary arguments, which is this one, which is arbitrary argument, we also have arbitrary keyword arguments. Now what are these? Let's see. So if I write here, now see function members, same function members. Now here we are using star star. Over here we used only one star. Now we write her last name is name. Now it will act as a dictionary. So you are using name as this one and then L name. L name will be the keyword name what you are specifying while calling the function. So if I write here F name, or if let's run this first. So her last name is Dhal. So if I write this as F name, give me Adya. So this is the way it works. Okay, let's go through the rest of the slides and then I'll give you a summary of what we have learned today. Ninth is default parameter value. Now what is default? Default is like if you are calling a function without specifying any parameter, then it will take the default value. Now here is defined is vacation place. Now country defined is India. Now print is I want to visit a country. Now if I don't define here country, if I don't give any parameter to this place, to this function, the default is India. But here is also India, so let's write Indiana here, or France. Now every time when we are sending the parameter, it will use the parameter what we are sending. When we are not sending the parameter, it will take as default which we have given here as India. If I run this, now see here, I want to visit Sweden, France, India and Brazil. Sweden, France, when we didn't give any parameter, it took the default one which is over here. So if I change default from India to America, so it will change the results as well. It has changed from India to America. I want to visit America. So Sweden, France, American, Brazil. Sweden, France, American, Brazil. Let's move forward. Now passing data type as argument. So far what we have done, we have sent one value to one parameter. Now let's see if we can send as a list or a dictionary also. So this is our code editor. So we can pass any data type as an argument. Let's discuss list and dictionary. Now here in this part we are making use of a list. Now this is a list. So what is a list? List is like defining a square brackets with comma separated values. Now define loop data type. Type here is a parameter. Now we are writing this inside the function. Now this is the function. For x in type, which is the value over here, we are going to print it. So now this is the name of the list. Now if I call this function with this particular parameter, see what it will give me. Let's first comment this every section to get the clarity. And let's comment this part as well. So only we have this part now. So what we're going to do is first we clear the screen. So here we are passing the list, which is names. If I run this one, everything in the list will be printed by the function. So this is the function loop data type. It is expecting one parameter, but that one parameter, we're not sending only a particular string, which is just one value. We are sending it here a list. List has multiple values. So once it receives in this function, it will be printed by this for loop. So if I add one more here, which is Yogesh, so it will display another value as well. So now if I remove this part and comment the upper part now, so we have, now it's not commented, okay, we need to remove this part. So we have this part now. Exactly like the above, we are having the same function, loop data type. Here we are sending a dictionary. Before we were sending a list. Here we are sending a dictionary. Dictionary has first name as Aman, middle name as Ajay, L name as Kumar. So loop data type is a function. This we are calling with sending this dictionary. Once the value is received over here in this parameter, then this loop will run and will print the key value only the keys of this. Let's run it. So first name, middle name, L name. First name, middle name, L name. Now if I want the value, what can happen? Value. So with this, we get everything: first name Aman, middle name Ajay, and L name Kumar. So this is the way it works. So now you have seen that we have tested sending one single value, and we have tested by sending list or dictionaries. So this is quite important thing. So function is something what, like, there's a small code or a kind of a enclosed thing what has everything, every logic defined within the function, but it's gonna run only when we call it. Now function has one more important thing is, which is returning a value, because otherwise function doesn't make any sense. So function here is that we ask a job to be done by a function, and then we want that value to be returned by a calling program. So these are the modular approaches. Like, you don't want everything to be written in the same program, and if one set of code is required multiple times, so you make a function of it and then you keep calling it. Every time you call it with same parameters or different parameters, you will get the return time back. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna make use of return statement and see what we gonna get back. So if we comment out these last two lines, so what we are doing here is we're defining a square function which will be accepting a value. Whatever value is getting it, it's gonna return back, which is 9, which is the multiple of the same value. Not multiple, the same number will be multiplied, which is square of the function, which is squaring the number. So if I run this one, I get 3 square 9, 525, 981. Now so this is basically the way it returns. Now I can store that value of the function and then I can return it also. So if I write var square function of 10, and if I don't print it, it will not do anything. So if I run, it may have called it, it has stored the value, but we have not printed that value. See, if I run it again, or if I clear the screen, run it again, it shows 81 only. But if I remove this comment and see, it is returning the value 100. So function is, it does its job and then it returns, and we can capture that return value and then we can either print out or we can make use of anything. So this is the whole tutorial of function. Let me summarize before I end this session. So function is a set of code. It runs only when it is called. So this is function name, it is called over here. Here we are making use of the same number of parameters what are expected by the function. Below there is a star member, which is arbitrary argument. Here we don't define or don't specify as many arguments as we are sending it. We only specify one with star, and then we make use of it using a index 0. It starts with 0 and then it goes on. Then is this keyword parameter that we are specifying that first should be this one, second should be this one, third should be this one. I think I told you why third is glowy before and others are not, because we are not making use of it. So if I use this variable down below, it will turn from gray to glow parts. See here, if I write first here, first, see the color changed, now it is also glowing. So if I change this to second, so it has changed now. So if you make use of it, then only it actually shows this kind of glow, otherwise it is always gray. So if I remove one part, it go back to gray. That means it is not used further. So, and moving further, these are the keyword arguments, and this is what we have learned over here, arbitrary keyword arguments, which is making use of 2 star star. So now here it works as a dictionary. You call it by giving a key and you will get the value. So F name is this one, L name is this one. Now here we discuss about the default name. The country has given a default America as a value, In case we don't specify any parameter, then the default will work. Otherwise, the whatever value we are giving will work. Last is, now we are sending a list in place of a single text. We are sending list and dictionaries. So once the list is sent, we are printing over here. Once the dictionary is sent, we are printing over here. The most important part is the return one. Every time the function is triggered, it should return a value. If it is not returning a value, then you want that function to perform a particular task. That is also correct. But the best is if you make small modular functions which you want the value to be returned back to the calling program, and then you can use it. So you can use those kind of programming techniques to shorten your program, make a modular small functions. If the same code is supposed to be used multiple times in a program, then you take it out, make a small function, and call that function n number of times you want with the different parameters. I hope you guys have learned today something, and if you have not, then please subscribe and like our channel. We'll see you in the next lecture, and the next lecture would be the classes, Python classes. But if you want me to make on some other topic, then please write on the comment section. We have a complete list of Python for beginners. We have every topic here listed. We can start from lesson 1 and follow other lessons in the sequence. So today I'm going to add the functions, and next will be the Python classes. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next video. Thank you.